everybody, welcome back to Building SouthLake, episode number 23. So, I just did a live stream the other day on SouthLake, and it was live stream number 3. And so, there is some things that, if you haven't seen the live stream, that will be a little bit new. And even during the live stream, I showed some new stuff that wasn't in the last part of Building SouthLake. And that's what I'm getting ready to show you. I'm going to show you some of the new things I've done off camera, because I don't do everything on camera sometimes, depending on like in the mood I'm in, stuff like that. So, some of the, like all the new things are over here on this side of the highway. So right here, we have this new skyscraper. It's not even really a skyscraper, it's just more of an office building. And this is actually the building we're going to be working on today. But mainly, we have this strip here that's the most newest part and most, like, I guess, updated part of the city. And I will show you my favorite building. This one here is my second favorite building. I mean, I don't know. During the live stream, this was, like, the wall here I'm looking at was a solid wood wall. But I decided to go in and, kind of edit it and make sure that it looked, better and not just plain. So I added some more windows from the front to the side. Yeah, but mainly you kind of see, like, a lot of these row buildings here. Because, in my opinion, they look better. And these are the buildings that you will see mostly in the city to save space and all that. Because in the city, space matters. But my favorite building of all on the new map is not this one, even though this is the newest building here. It's not my favorite. My favorite is this building here. So, I don't know what about it, and just the design of it in general just really makes me love this building, just how it looks. It looks like a really fancy apartment slash like cafe, There's just something about it that I really love. It's probably my favorite building, especially on this street alone. It's definitely my favorite building. You can even tell I really like it because I added floors to it, as you can tell on the inside. Even added fire escapes, stuff like that on the back to kind of make it more realistic as well. But yeah, so this is easily my favorite building, almost on the entire map so far. So that speaks a lot about how much I like it. So basically today we're going to be working on this skyscraper here. Again, not really a skyscraper, just a building. It's really all it is. But yeah, we're mainly just going to be working on this building and just trying to complete it because this needs to be... I'm using the wrong block. Whoops. I'm happy I realized that now. What do I need? Mossy cobblestone? I think is what it is. Got stone bricks. Where's the mossy cobblestone? Something... I'm not seeing it. I forgot where I even got it from. Oh, here it is. Moss stone is what it's called. And okay. I mean... I don't know why I've been doing so much stuff off camera. I mean, I've been doing a lot of stuff off camera recently. I think it's mainly just like the mood I've been in. I wasn't in the mood to record, but I was really in like the mood to come up with new designs. And that's kind of like how this whole street came about. Was I wanted to come up with new designs, and even some of these buildings you might see for tutorials. So another reason why I didn't really do them on camera. Because I like coming up with designs first and then doing like a video on it. And sometimes I usually do like half. But in this occasion I did like basically the entire building. And I didn't really do any of it on camera. But I did work on some of them during the live stream. Because if you haven't been keeping up, I've been doing a couple more live streams a week. Just because, it's more fun. There's a lot more possibility to, interact with you guys. And I know I've been talking about it a lot and saying how much I enjoy it in the past couple episodes of SouthLake and stuff like that, but basically all my live streams have been on SouthLake so far, and some people get upset that I don't let them build, but I don't try to be mean. I try to be as nice about it as possible. Some people just don't like joining in the game and not being able to do anything, but I respect the people that come into the game because I usually keep SouthLake open to the public, like not to build, but just to come in and look around, because I understand that people want to look for their own, for their own map, stuff like that, and get inspiration in person. And so I like to leave SouthLake open exactly for that reason, mainly just because I understand what you guys want. I understand that you guys want something that, gives you the inspiration, stuff like that. And so that's kind of why you'll see me leave SouthLake open all the time. Now, again, you might not be able to build, but you're at least able to come in here, look at the buildings firsthand and from the point of views that you want to see them. And so that's kind of why I leave it open all the time. And some people think like that's just because it's kind of like a tease, like, hi, you can join my game, but you can't build. It also gives you a chance to see me build, because some people like to join into my worlds and to see me build for fun. Alright, hold on, guys. Jax! My cat is hyper. I don't know why. It's like every time I start to record, he just starts meowing like crazy. Love him to death, but man, he is a pain. Let's see. What are some other things we could talk about? So some of the newer things I want to do to the city, because believe it or not, we're almost done with the main part of the city, besides like interior and stuff like that, is I want to expand the river a little bit, and like we'll come back to the building here in a second. What I mean by that is the fact that I want the river to obviously extend forwards, and you're gonna see the walls kind of disappear, because I don't want the entire river being these flat walls, because this isn't necessarily realistic, because a lot of real rivers obviously have, turns to them, stuff like that. So I might get rid of some of the walls with the future parts of the river. And also I want to turn the river a little bit too, and have like, separations from it, stuff like that. So I might even have the river, like turn back this way, go next to the highway. I mean, just different stuff like that I've been thinking about doing, because really we don't have too much space left. I mean, if you think about it, we have this area over here to finish up, which a lot of this will be buildings and roads, so that will take up a lot of space, plus sidewalks, stuff like that. Over on the other side though, Jax! We do have a lot more, to get done, especially on the other side. Like if we fly all the way over here, we will get there eventually. And here, so we have some buildings over here now, but there is a lot more room for expansion here. And something I've been considering is adding another above ground highway to kind of go over the river again and kind of connect the 3 highways together. Now that's something I've just been considering. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that yet or not. I have a lot of plans set for the city, but some of them aren't like fully, set in stone yet. A lot of them are just ideas at the moment. What's down here? Oh yeah, I forgot I dug down to see like where this would come up. Okay, so we got that taken care of. Some of the things I want to get done. So I guess we can go back to working on the building now. Maybe next part we will finish up this building here, because I want to finish up that one. Definitely. Still one of my favorite buildings. And one thing I really love now is having more buildings over here surrounding these 2 buildings here. Those buildings right there that I just showed you are like the main focus point across the highway here. I mean, just look. They stand out so much, and I just love it. They look fantastic in the area. They look like they fit in. They're not, too big compared to any of the other buildings, but they're like perfect size for the area. And still, one of my favorite things to do is, let me take some more night vision, is, walking through these big doors, and it's like seeing the city in front of you is one of the coolest things. I couldn't imagine having this in like real life, just walking out onto your patio or whatnot and just having this amazing view of the city. That'd be awesome to have in real life, but the possibilities of me living in a city, they're very slim. And okay, so I think I've gone on enough rambling about like what I want to do with the city, so we can back to work on this building. So let's go over some of the materials that I'm using, just so you guys know if you want to recreate this for yourself. Because it is a fairly simple building to make, just a lot of, like small details I've done to it to kind of make it look a little bit more complicated than it really is. I'm using, what are these called? Chiseled quartz blocks are the blocks I'm using now. Now, it doesn't look like it because I'm using the city texture pack, which is still the main comment I get on all my videos is what texture pack do I use? And I understand that because of PC. People want to know the exact texture pack I'm using. And my answer every time is, this is the city texture pack on the Xbox 360 consoles, just everything like that. And so you're not really going to find this exact same texture pack on PC, but you do have ones exactly like it. I mean, like really similar, just without a couple blocks being the same, And so I'm using the city texture pack. So for you PC guys, you're not really going to be able to get your hands on it, but you can get your hands on something similar. That's why kind of the courts look a little bit, more weird, is because they're meant for the city. These are supposed to be like air ducts. It's kind of like the whole purpose behind this design of the block here is, at least I'm sure that's what it's for, because it looks like they'd be air ducts, but I'm not exactly sure. Let's see. Let's go over a couple more things. I'm using stone and obsidian for like the main building. Now you will see like a lot of glass and obviously stuff like that for the windows. But one of the things I had to kind of, think about was when I started this building originally, I had, instead of obsidian, I had gold blocks. And usually I'm a firm person on, I never use like gold blocks, stuff like that. I think I said gold blocks twice. I meant diamond blocks. But I don't use those kind of blocks too much. And because they don't look like a good block to use. They look out of place compared to every other block around it. Now, every now and then, especially depending on the texture pack, obviously, they can look really good. But again, I kind of like not using them because they look kind of crappy, in my opinion, to use them. And I kind of saw that, like, I figured I'd give it a chance with this building originally, and it didn't work out too well. It looked really ugly, and it looked too bright compared to everything around it. But now, if you have, like, a really bright city, you know, like, vibrant colors, stuff like that, the gold and diamond blocks, stuff like that, iron blocks, might look good. But at the same time, like, in this city, the colors aren't, you know, too vibrant. We don't have different colored buildings everywhere. So it kind of looked out of place, and I was trying to kind of find a way to make it look similar, you know, like with a good color, add some color to it, but at the same time change things up. And I think the obsidian does that perfectly because it still catches your attention, but without being too bright and basically like outshadowing everything around it. So I think I kind of hit the, because I'd never really used obsidian stuff like that for buildings, which I want to start using more. I mean, you have these blocks at your disposal. It's just about how you use them is the interesting thing. So you're definitely going to try to see me start using like more of like obsidian, bedrock, stuff like that in buildings, just because they look good if you use them correctly. But hey, that's just my opinion. And I don't know, like that building down there that looks brown, that is brown stained clay. Now, at your first instinct, it's like brown thing. Ooh, something. Oh yeah, that's up a little bit higher. Okay, not that big of a deal. I was really worried for a second. But like when you, without building the building, you think like, I would never use brown stained clay because it doesn't look good. It's brown, you know. People have like certain things about like different colors that they won't use, you know. And I understand that because you might not like these colors. You see it in your head as something else, and it would look different. But after looking at it and using the brown, you know, it really looked good. And why is my scare? That's weird. My chair is like squeaking. I'm not sure why it's doing that. I'm not even moving. But yeah, so I tried using the brown wool, or not brown wool, the brown stained clay to kind of, you know, see how it would look, give it a test run. And it honestly looks extremely realistic. It's a different alternative to brick because even though in cities they use brick a lot, the brick, I feel like you can use too much of it. I mean, I like brick, especially in this texture pack. And vanilla, I don't like it too much. But in this texture pack, I love how the brick looks. You know, it looks fantastic. It looks realistic to how the brick would actually look, you know? But the only problem is I don't want to overdo it because then it's too much red. And again, even though I understand that a lot of cities use brick all the time because it's a sturdy, you know, material, stuff like that, Minecraft isn't real life, you know? I want to change things up. I want to add, you know, different designs to everything that I can. And I feel like if I use too much brick, it would clash too much. You would just kind of see like the same thing over and over again. And here's like a small little, you know, inside tip that I use sometimes. Now, some of these buildings you might recognize, like going from one building to the next, they might look similar. And that might be very true. But one thing I've always done as a tip is I can kind of use the same design for a building, but with different materials. But if I use brick on the same building and then kind of change the color up a little bit, you know, add a new color like, you know, yellow wool, stuff like that. But if I made it the exact same design, it might look completely different and you wouldn't even recognize it. And so that's, again, that can be a bad thing too, because I feel like if I use too much brick and this one material, not just brick, I feel like the buildings will look too similar to everybody, you know, and I don't want that. I want the buildings to be unique with their own character, you know. I don't want all the buildings looking the same. I don't want somebody coming on the world and saying like, oh, well, these buildings all look the same. He doesn't have any, you know, like designs for his buildings, which I understand some people are going to say that no matter what. But in my opinion, I feel like if I use different materials, it kind of livens up the buildings a little bit. It changes how you look at them, which is probably the main thing I would probably focus on. Just because, it, like, you know, I mean, I'm trying to think of like a good way to describe it. If you use too many materials, your world can look weird. But if you use the correct amount like with, alternating between those different materials, they might look okay. I mean, for example, let me find a building that I can use as an example. So this building here, right? This building looks unique and it looks really good using the color scheme. But I guarantee I have almost the exact same building right next to it, just with a little bit different design, not much. But if you notice, the windows are one wider on this building, and this one's 2 windows. The windows are 2 wide, this one's 3. Exact same design, but with different materials. As you can see, they look kind of similar, but there's a difference. And even just adding that small, different window width really made a difference. Adding different color schemes to it made a difference as well. So just like small stuff like that can really help you, come up with more designs. And that's kind of like a tip I use is, Jax, I try to use some of the same designs, obviously, because at some point you're going to repeat. It's just almost impossible not to. So you just have to figure out, like, what's the best way to repeat it with also adding new things to it, And I guess that might be a good answer to a lot of you guys that ask me, how do I get my designs? And I get this question a lot, especially with houses, because I make houses a lot. And speaking of houses, the house series is finally up and going. So if you haven't seen house number 1, I uploaded part 1 yesterday. Part 2 is going up today. So you guys go definitely check that out. It's a ranch house. And house number 2, we are building a neighborhood house. So stay tuned in for that. At least I think it's a neighborhood house. I'm not sure what I'm going to name it yet. We'll see. But a lot of people ask me, like, how do you come up with your designs? Because especially with houses, you can make houses look so similar all the time. At least with skyscrapers, you have more, leeway with your height, stuff like that. But with houses are really hard to make look different sometimes. But again, the best way I can kind of answer, like, how to do it is really just, using the materials and designs you've used before in different ways. I mean, for example, these windows, I could make these windows again on another building, but I would make the design of the building different. I would, take pieces from this building with pieces from other buildings and put it together. And that's exactly what I've done with this building. I've taken, different colors with different, window designs I've already done. Just like, if you look, I've used this design a lot recently with the 3 wide windows with the fences in the middle. But with this building, I put glass panes in the corners, to make it different. It makes it, stand out a little bit more. So just like small stuff like that can like just really make a difference. Jax, get down. You're being a real pain today. I actually need to. Now this is actually something I'm not sure if I want to do. So as you can see here, I kind of have like a U shape, and I'm debating like if I want to have the back be U shape as well, or kind of make it to where like this would be like one big open area, or kind of make it to where only one side has the U. Then there's like a back wall that kind of connects the two, I'm not sure what I want to do yet, because I could make it like a, rest area, stuff like that. Well, we are coming, pretty close to time, and the building's looking good. I mean, it's a really simple design, really, just with, different design aspects to it. We might keep the U shape going all the way around, so I need to get rid of these here. Where do I need to stop? So we'll just come all the way over, and then we stop right here. Okay, and now we just go back down. I completely forgot I did the U shape, and by the time I realized, I was already done with adding all this up to the same with the same height. Oh no, I wasn't paying attention. Okay, and is that the right height? Looks like it. Alright, so we need to cut them all down to this height. And we'll go up from here. Okay. Actually, I need to keep this one as well. Again, messed up. And that's another reason why I like doing designs, off camera sometimes. Is because, especially like during the live stream, if you saw it, I go through a lot of designs in a building. And especially like, I think it was... What building was it? There's Jax. There was a building, I forgot which one it was. It might have been this one here, that I had a design for a building here, but I completely tore it down and restarted. I basically exited the game without saving because it didn't look well with the area, so I kind of had to redo it. So I'm not afraid of redoing my designs. So that's kind of like why sometimes you'll see me, you know, doing stuff off camera, stuff like that. And something is off here again. Is something off? It doesn't, it might, oh, I don't think it is. It might have just been the angle. How's that? Alright, so let's see. Nope, everything's on. Okay. For some reason, everything looked off for a second. Like, at this angle, it looks, like, from right here, it looks off, but it just looks like the angle. Okay, whew. I was really worried there for a second. But my heart attack went away. Yeah, I don't have to call an ambulance. So, I think we basically talked about, like, all my talking points for this video. I mean, I'm not sure what else to talk about at the moment. I'm sure by next week I'll have something else to talk about. One thing I do want to say is before we end the video. Now, with the house series returning, I don't want you guys to think I'm going to stop my weekly schedule. The house series is kind of just like in between, you know, everything else. I'm still going to maintain my weekly schedule, obviously, like I'm doing now, to where I'm keeping up with, you know, SouthLake, Chaoscraft, stuff like that. I'm trying to maintain it and keep it going. I'm not going to stop everything just because of the house series. So if you like, you know, my channel for the survival, like Chaoscraft, I'm not going to be stopping that stuff just because the house series is here. So technically you're actually getting like twice as many videos a week now for 10 weeks. So hopefully you guys will like it because there's a lot more houses coming, you know, a lot more videos coming out, which I think you guys will definitely enjoy because I put a lot of time into the house series, you know, for you guys to enjoy it. And I'm actually going to be recording house number 10 here in the next couple of days and starting that, because house number 10 might be around like 8 parts, so it might even take 2 weeks. So we'll have to see like how well that goes. But yeah, so I have a lot to get done, but again, I'm maintaining my weekly schedule that I've been using, so you don't have to worry about that. Just in case you were curious, I just kind of like I want to express that just so you guys don't worry about it. So we might call it quits for this part, guys. This building will probably be done by next part, you know, like with the windows and everything. And then, like I said, next part we'll go back to working on that building all the way over there in the distance, just because I want to finish that one up as well. We might even start up some new designs for buildings in the next couple parts, because I do want to show you guys like my thought process of, you know, like coming up with designs and stuff like that. So I haven't really done that too much with SouthLake yet, like showing you guys on camera like my thought process and like how I come up with designs. So I might try to do that in the next couple parts, so you guys can kind of see like how picky I am. Now some of you guys might be like going like, oh my god, this guy's so picky, blah blah blah. But you guys will understand like how I do things, how I come up with designs, you know, like from scratch. Because I know during the live stream some people asked me, there's one question like, why don't you, you know, what was the question exactly? It was like, why don't you, you know, plan out your buildings before you start them? And my answer was because it kind of wastes time, and you can sketch something, but when you make it in person in 3D, it can look completely different by one block if you messed up in your sketch. And by the time you're sketching everything and, you know, planning it out, I could have already had a design in place that looks the exact same and have a 3D model of it. So that's kind of why I don't really sketch things out. It was a really good question. I mean, I've been asked that before, and that's kind of just my answer to it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode of SouthLake. Quite a bit has been done, and we have a lot more to get done too. So I don't want you to think I'm doing way too much stuff off camera, because sometimes it might seem like it, but at the same time, there's still so much more to get done, and we're going to be working in the city for a long time to come. It's not going to be done anytime soon. Also, for downloading this map, a lot of people have been asking about it. I want to clarify this as well before we exit. A lot of people have been asking, like, when will SouthLake be available for download? Well, the problem with that as of right now is there's no modding software to get this map off of my console and onto my PC yet, like there was for the 360. So we just kind of have to wait until a program comes out, like for a converter from Xbox One to PC, stuff like that. So you guys will have to wait a little bit until that comes out, and I will keep you guys posted about it, like when I find stuff out. But as for now, there will not be an update for a while, and the only update I could really give you guys would be the update or the map from when I started this on the 360, and like right before I imported it over to the Xbox One, which that would exclude a lot of stuff. So that's kind of why I'm not really going to do that, because you would basically miss this entire half of, you know, this map really. So I don't want to do that because there's a lot of good stuff on the map now that I want you guys to see for yourself when you download it. So you guys will have to wait a little bit longer, but hopefully that answers that question. So, bye-bye, guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy this series because we have a lot more to get done. So, bye-bye, guys, and thank you for watching.